35% of guys in the seduction community have paid for sex. It's crazy. I never imagined it even being that high. It's fucking scary to me. Does paying for sex make you a weak man?
Only
Um,
if you have to.
I don't know. I don't like it's weird because like I really don't think about other guys unless I'm like asked to think about them. So I've never really thought about this. Is it weak to pay for sex? I don't know. Like I don't really care what the guys are doing. I really just don't give a shit. It's not my place to judge. But I guess the best answer is like what Lucario said. Like if that's your only recourse, then it's like yeah, all right, that's what you got to do. Like instead of, or are you like Quasimodo, right? Are you Quasimodo? Okay, fine. That's your only recourse. No matter how much you learn, nothing's going to change because you're just literally fucking disgusting and scary to women. I've seen people who are like that in New York City. They're disgusting. They're scary. They're
Yeah.
very
Welcome
off-putting.
to the New York
Like
City subway.
right, exactly. There's some people who are like that. They are never going to have the interest of a woman unless they pay the woman probably more than her usual rate. Okay, that's the case for Nate. That's nature. There are men who are desirable and there are men who are not desirable. That's just life. That's nature. Okay, if you have to pay for it, okay, whatever. Like I really don't give a shit enough to judge them whether they're good or bad. Like I don't really care. I mean, I look at guys who are going out and having to validate themselves through pussy as being worse than going out and buying a hooker for one night, right?
Mhm.
Because they've got such low self-value, low self-worth that they need to constantly have this feed of dopamine and validation from women that they can't stop. And they're literally at like hundreds and hundreds of women they just cannot stop because if they don't have it, then the walls are going to start imploding in. They're going to start realizing that they're still just a fucking loser who hates themselves. So it's like I don't know. It really depends on their relationship to themselves. I think that's really what makes the difference. Like if they think they're a loser and they don't like themselves and they get a hooker, that says one thing. If they have high respect for themselves and they get a hooker, that says another thing. So it's really not the thing that is the problem. It's the relationship to it. Sort of like alcohol.
Mm.
Like some people they go to alcohol, they're like, yeah, it's just a drink. Like I have it every once in a while, whatever. Other people, it has a way different connotation, a way different relationship, and affects
Mhm.
them much more deeply psychologically. So it's not really the thing itself; it's the relationship you have to that thing. And pussy will do all kinds of crazy fucked up things to the guy's heads. And so the guy who get a lot, they're like, "Oh man, look at him! He's such a fucking Chad. He gets all this pussy." It's like, yeah, but I bet you anything, 9 times out of 10, if I started digging into his psyche, like real deep one-on-one conversation, I'd discover that he hates himself almost
Mm.
almost 100% of the time.
That's real shit.
Interesting.
Yeah, yeah. I would just say it's it's one of those things. If you have to do it, meaning that's your only source of getting it, I think that's weak because then you're just relying on the money and not relying on who you are to attract. And then what could happen is you might be in a situation where you are desiring sex, but let's say for whatever reason you didn't have the money. So now it's like you're stuck because you don't have the actual skill to do it without the money. You feel what I'm saying? So the thing is that it's a guy who refuses to work on himself to be able to attract the things and the situations he wants out of life. You see what I'm saying?
Mm.
Yeah,
Exactly.
as far as paying for it, I've done it before, and for me, it was just an experience. I think I think you're there's nothing wrong with having an experience. But like Mr. Justin said, your relationship to the thing is is uh is the important part because it's like some guys think that that's the for example, some guys think that that's the only way that they can have sex with a quote unquote hot girl. You get what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? And if you truly believe that, then I'm not saying that you're a weak man, but there is a weakness in your perception of like what you think about yourself in reference to hot women, so to speak, right?
Mm.
So again, for me, it was more of an experience. It was like a whole thing to go to Brazil, like before Passport Bros. Like it was like a secret, like pleasure to go to Brazil and see what that whole thing was
Whoa.
like.
Miles
You know what I'm saying?
Cunningham, the first passport bro.
Yeah, yeah, I did. Me and my boys was doing that shit before Passport Bros was even the thing, and
Mhm.
it was a really cool experience. And I remember like we would do that, but we would also talk to girls, like just regular shit. And I remembered I had this chick that she was damn near following me around and shit, and we would, it's crazy. But anyway, the point of the matter is I believe in experiences. So in my mind, it's like if you feel
Bucket
like Lucario
list.
said, if you feel like you have to, then that's a different thing. But
Mhm.
to me, I wanted an experience. So I'm like, let me see what this is like. You know what I'm saying? You pay some money and you get a chick with a fat Brazilian ass, you know what I'm saying? And you get to have some fun, and that's it. So but it's like, do I have to do that in order to enjoy my life? No. Um, so again, it's and it also like brings me to the idea of addiction, right?
Mm.
Some people, it's like to me, addiction has a lot to do with your mind, right? It's like
Mhm.
for me, there are things that I like. There are things that I will indulge in, right? Because I really like it. But will I allow it to stop me from, doing what I have to do, pay my bills and get to work on time and things like that? No, right? But some men do allow that, and that's where that weakness comes in. You see what I'm saying? So it's really up to the decisions that you make and the purpose behind the decisions that you're making. And again, if you feel like that's the only way that you can get a woman to touch you, then there is a definite weakness in your perception.
Yeah, that's a good point. I was thinking about the addiction factor. Like marijuana, for example. I never do fucking drugs, but when marijuana was legalized in Canada back in 2018,
Hmm.
first week I tried it. Never tried it since. I'm not addicted to that kind of shit. I don't
Right.
drink alcohol anymore. Like before, I was first alcohol I had, I was probably like 6 years old or some shit. That's
Right.
that's just like the normal culture, but I don't
Yeah.
drink alcohol anymore. I was
Mhm.
never addicted to it, but it was just a thing. So yeah, that was pretty interesting.